Alright, Bonehawks, this video is all about Shujinko, and this video is for anyone that wants to play Shujinko, main Shujinko, but doesn't own any of the DLC to really practice against them. So I wanted to kind of show off the moves and kind of what you steal and what you can do with the moves, because you might not be able to even see them, or maybe you don't know anyone to practice with online. I'm going to do this video in two parts, because it is a lot of information, and I just wanted to gauge if this is something that people want, if this is something you've been looking for, something that you think you needed. Just leave me a comment down below to let me know, and good feedback and all that kind of stuff, and then I'll fast track the part two. So yeah, that being said, we're going to get into the steals for Omni Man first. Yeah, let's get into it.
Accept your death.
Alright, so starting first with Omni Man here, I would recommend that you play through Invasions a little bit and try and make note of where there is a node for these DLC characters on there, so you can go in there and try and practice against them. Some seem to be more popular than others in there, but that's kind of the best way you're going to have to practice, because otherwise you have no way to practice your combos. If you can't do it in practice mode and you don't have anyone that you know online, you might be able to go into online practice with. So maybe find a node and practice there. This video is assuming that you have a basic understanding of how Shujinko works with his punch, with his kick, and then with his crumple. I have tons of guys on my channel if you haven't, but you kind of need this kind of intermediate knowledge there. So starting with the clap. Clap move is his half bar steal or 1 bar steal, depending on how you want to look at it. And it is also our keep a safe move. So -8, fairly safe. A little bit of pushback there as well. This is generally what I use as my combo ender, so if I do something like this, hopefully I can land this first try and not look silly. So there, something like that. So I do find that if the character is kind of airborne, that using the Shujinko kick kind of elevates them up a little bit higher and allows for the clap to hit a little bit easier. Not much else to go over for this move. It's a fairly basic attack. Feel free to throw it in for any pressure. Keep yourself safe. Just make sure that you're going to be ending your turn if your opponent blocks it. So getting into the full bar steals here, we are first going with just the regular down back cameo. And this is going to be a teleport behind. Now this is really unsafe on block at -14, so just be careful of that. It is a combo starter though, so if it hits, like, you're good. Continue your combo, you're fine. This is what the hit animation looks like. I do find the gravity is a little bit funky, so make sure that you practice as best you can. But it does pretty good damage for your whole cameo meter. So he actually has 3 different teleports he can do, and this would be one that you would try and hit confirm into. So if you have something that is pretty easy to be like, okay, I saw that it hit, I'm just gonna throw that one out. Because it's so unsafe, I don't really just want to chance it to throw it out. That being said, we do have something for that. So the down back cameo up is actually one that is not only safe, but I believe +1 on block. So this is one that you could just kind of throw out if you wanted to. Like, not really trying to hit confirm it, and if it hits, it does have a lot of pushback though, so make sure that you know the combo that your character wants to do with it. Scorpion, we're just going to spear. But as you can see, definitely not as much damage as our last one. 366, just because we had to change our combo paths a bit. This may or may not be the case for every character, but it's up to you to kind of figure out what your character kind of wants to do with this particular steal. So yeah, but that's a really good one, and if it's in the corner, then you don't have to worry about it as much, because it's not going to knock them back as far. So in the corner you can do more of a typical combo that you would do. Let's get to the corner here. So then we're back into the 400s again. So it's just kind of mid-screen. You want to be careful using that particular steal. So that's the down back cameo up steal. And you can see all of these in the move list, by the way. In case you didn't know, they're all here. And lastly, we have the down back cameo down. I think this is one of his probably most useful tools because it's a very consistent combo launcher. And unlike the other combo launcher, it's +1 on hit. So similar to the forward one, this doesn't change the gravity of your combos as much. So you're able to do something that's a little bit more consistent. And it does pretty darn good damage. 472 meterless is pretty insane. Now, almost every single launcher in this game will combo off of Shujinko's mid kick. This is like the only exception to that. This will not combo off of Shujinko's kick. It's really weird that it's the only one that doesn't because there are a lot slower moves that still do. But you want to keep this in mind. When you're using this, if you're going to combo, it has to go off the punch. It cannot go off the kick, or else it's just going to get blocked and you're not going to get your combo. So that is super duper important and a really kind of niche thing to know about this Omni Man matchup. So I try to kind of default to the high as much as I can, but I mean, that mid kick is just so good. It just catches so many people. How could you not use it? It's insane. So hopefully you found this helpful. Let's move on to the next DLC character, Quan Chi. Alright, so with Quan Chi, we're starting with, he has actually 2 down-forward steals. So down-forward down steal, we send Shujinko in Skydrop. And on the surface of things, it seems like, okay, yeah, the move is negative, but look how far away I am. That doesn't matter for Quan Chi, because Quan Chi can punish this with a standing floor. So this is actually quite unsafe for you to do. And depending on the cameo, Quan Chi can get a lot of damage from that. At the bare minimum, it's 155. So just be aware, try and do that on reads because Quan Chis are going to be jumping and air scaling a lot. So if you can read them on that, that's probably the best time to use that. But other than that, we also do have the just the regular down forward steal, which is the skull. And that's our safe option. If we just want to throw something out willy-nilly, we don't really care, but we want to stay safe, you do the skull, you're -1. And then, of course, you're going to be more plus the farther you are away. +27 at full screen. So you can come up with some pretty crazy stuff, you know? Things like that. Scorpion is not a great way to explain that, but it's kind of starts the recovery as soon as that projectile leaves Shujinko's head. So that's actually really good. So make sure you use that to your advantage if you're trying to play a keep-away game or something like that. So now for the full bar steal, we do the Field of Bones, which you can put in 3 different places, depending on the input. Down, forward, back, down, forward, or sorry, down, back, back, down, back, or down, back, forward. Put them, and then I think there's a down, back, up as well for very far. Now it's kind of expensive to just use this to cage him in to stop him or whatever. It looks very counterintuitive, but this is actually a combo starter. So you would do a move into that, and then you see how that comboed there. So the nice thing about this is it leaves them grounded, so that this will keep the gravity of your combo from increasing until you actually decide to launch them. So we're going to do this, then we're going to launch. If you have it back, you can use it multiple times in one combo. And then end it with whatever you want. So you can get really big damage against a character who already has low health. So this is one of Shujinko's craziest matchups. It's pretty straightforward. You want to just use this to combo. And this is where you kind of got to know the pushback on how your character's combos work. You might need to use the close one to combo. You might need to use the middle one to combo. Or it might make it easier for it to hit. That kind of a thing. That's crazy damage, 527. Anything over 400 is really good. Anything over 500 is crazy. So make sure that you find your combos with whatever your starter. Try and pick a starter that doesn't launch so you can really take advantage of the steal and really get as much damage as you can. And Quan Chi shows up in invasions a lot more than Omni Man does. I just went and searched for it and I thought, you know what, these seasons change. Someone might be watching this down the road. You'll find a Quan Chi early on that you can go in and practice these combos against. I almost guarantee it for sure. So that's Quan Chi. Let's move on to the next one. So now we're on Peacemaker. So pretty straightforward with his half bar steal. It's just a shot. Knocks him down. Gotta love how Shujinko comes out wearing the helmet. Beautiful touch. Not really much else to go over here. It's just he gives you a projectile. Always useful, especially if you're playing a character that doesn't have projectiles. Now for the back 3 steals, I believe he has 3 of them here. The first one is that he has the burst, which is a combo starter. Boom, boom. But it is death on block at -21. So something that you would want to make sure that you actually hit confirm first. And then it does kind of hit your opponent quite a far ways away. So make sure that you understand, similar to how that Omni Man one works, we want to make sure that we have a combo ready for that, combo path. And this isn't one that you just want to throw out. In the corner, same idea. The corner, because there's no pushback, you can just do your regular B&B, and that'll work just fine. So the second move that he steals, this is actually a pretty good utility move. So Shujinko will fire himself at the opponent and knock them down. Now, when Shujinko does this, he is armored, so he'll just blow through whatever Peacemaker's doing and hit him anyways. Alright, so we got Peacemaker set to shoot us, and we're going to have Shujinko fly through the bullet and hit Peacemaker. Keep in mind, there is only 1 hit of armor. I kind of may have oversold that a little bit. There is only 1 hit of armor on Shujinko, so if Peacemaker hits him with 2 of his enhanced bullets, that will break the armor. So yeah, but pretty good utility move, and also death on block, question mark? Yeah, -12. So don't really do this up close, expecting to be safe. That's not going to happen. And lastly, his down back up cameo is the anti-gravity. He floats into the air, he comes down on the opponent, and that's a combo launcher. So you want to make sure you have whatever your airborne combo is ready. Attack the opponent. And very good damage on that one. So yeah, you can do 2 separate ones. This takes a little bit of execution, but you can do down, back, up, back, and Shujinko will actually land in front of your opponent. Or you could do down, back, up, forward, and Shujinko will fall behind. So if you're trying to read movement, otherwise he's the regular one, he's just going to go up and try and track as best he can. Sometimes your opponent can try and do something like maybe a torpedo or something, and then Shujinko can try and catch him coming forward. But the nice thing about this one as well is it's +21 on block. So don't have to worry about being punished as long as he lands on him. But you're stuck there for a minute, so Peacemaker might be able to take advantage of that and hit you before Shujinko actually comes down. So, especially if you haven't really cancelled, I always recommend doing your Shujinko moves from a Shujinko punch or a Shujinko kick. The exception would be if he has some sort of a mix-up move, like Sindel's overhead or something. Maybe you could throw that out in the string just to, you know, not have as much chance for them to react. You know, you're mixing them up more, so... yeah, and that's Peacemaker steal. Of course, if you have questions at any point of this, let me know down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them right away. Let's move on to, I think we're at Homelander now. Alright, so next we have Homelander. So our half-bar steals, our regular eye lasers, down forward cameo, or down forward down cameo, is a mid, but it's less safe. This is actually plus on block from that far away. I don't believe it's plus on block up close. No, it's -7, but it's still safe. And the mids will not be safe up close. They're -18. So those are pretty basic. Pretty basic combo launcher in the down, back, down cameo. If you hold the cameo button, he'll charge across the screen. If you just kind of tap it, he'll just go whenever you... So he kind of goes whenever you release it, or you can have him go full screen if you want. Pretty straightforward. I don't feel there's really much to go into there. What is really interesting about this matchup is that just the regular down back cameo, you get a little ambush thing going on here. So you hold the cameo button, and as long as you hold the cameo button, Shujinko is ready to cover your ass. So you do something unsafe like this, no you didn't, because Shujinko's going to cover you with this little ambush. Super duper cool. Bom, 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 bom. No, we're actually plus 356 because Shujinko was in there to save our hides. So use that to your discretion as much as you would like. Like I said, something unsafe. No, it's not. Shujinko got your back. Now, this is also a combo starter as well. You just have to let him go right away instead of holding him there. So you just do something like this. There's your combo. And it does really, really good damage. Sometimes, depending on the character, you actually might be able to get 2 of these in a row, depending on how you kind of charge Shujinko, which can make damage absolutely crazy. So if you do them right away, you see that it hits, just let them go, do your combo. And Bob's your uncle. So yeah, this is actually one of the better steals, probably a top 5 steal, I'd say, for Shujinko, just because his biggest weakness is he lacks an ambush, so give him the ability to kind of have one is pretty cool. Some characters can get throw combos off of this. It's yeah, like that. So there you go. That's Homelander. I think we're about halfway done, just over halfway done here now. All right, so as of time of this recording, this is actually the craziest steals that Shujinko has. I expect some changes to happen here, some things to maybe get nerfed, but right now, man, we're eating good with this. So we'll start off. There's a few steals to go over. So knife toss, pretty straightforward. You can actually cancel this. Hold the cameo button, and then you press the right trigger. Now keep in mind that will use 1 bar of your super meter, your own super meter, and the cameo meter. So keep that in mind. But it does combo if you do this. So for half a Shujinko bar, you get a launcher. So, and the scaling isn't that bad. It's actually pretty good. So if you can keep them on the ground, you could technically do 2 Shujinko cancels and get some pretty nasty damage. So the down forward down is half a Shujinko bar. But again, similar to Homelander, we get a little ambush type situation. But this one's even better because it gives us a mix-up. So Shujinko here, gonna roll around on the ground. It's not as long as the laser one is, but as long as you hold the cameo button, he's crawling. And he's just gonna do a little low that taps and knocks down. So if you have a character that has some sort of an overhead or something, this would be really, really good to use with that, and trying to create some crazy fun to blockables, I call them, where you kind of have to block low and high really fast. So yeah, this is actually a pretty crazy steal for just half a bar. It's actually pretty nuts. But going into his full bar steals, so we get a launcher off of the backstage pass, which is just the regular down back cameo. Back and hits them. Boom, 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 boom. Really good damage. 481. And he's probably charged back by the end of that combo too, by the way. So this is one that you can either hit confirm, or you can just throw it out. Because if they block it, it's +5 on block. So I mean, who cares? Decent chip damage. Probably not why I would use that move, but I mean, that's a bonus, you know? And you're +5, so you can lead into kind of something else if you have a super good mid. Like Scorpion's got 12 frame mid, so I mean, kind of create some more pressure for him there. So that's really good. And again, as I was saying before, this is a combo starter that keeps them grounded, so it's not going to affect your gravity on your combo until you launch them. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. But that's not even the craziest thing about this. We get a second Shujinko ambush. This time, it's a combo starter that will follow along and holds them in place once it hits. That's what it looks like we do. Look at how long they're stunned here for. That's actually crazy. So if you have a character that can do some sort of a setup, you can get like some extra damage or like some sort of a buff on the screen or something like that. This will give you all the time in the world to do that. So for example, we could do a starter on this. Scorpion can do his little flame burst. Now we get a little damage over time action going as we're doing our combo for a little bit of extra damage. And where this actually gets pretty crazy is if you can end a combo with this. So if you use your own regular combo and then end it with the Shujinko, and then they're forced into a wake-up scenario of dealing with this. There you go, back into your whatever setup you want to do. So yeah, side note, Shujinko does do a hit on the way down in this move. Now that hit on the way down will actually restand Ghostface. So if he's, I'll do that same combo again because you might have missed it. After this, he should be considered airborne and should fly to the ground. But because Shujinko hits him on the way down with that first hit, it restood him plus 17 into that crazy mix-up. Yeah, so there you go. This is just insane, all of these tools. You have a huge advantage against Ghostface if you're using Shujinko. This takes a lot of time, and Ghostface isn't a super popular one in Invasions if you're trying to find one to practice against. There are a couple out there, but they seem to focus more on the Mortal Kombat characters, which makes sense. So let's go to our last steals for today, which I believe will be Conan. So Conan's a little underwhelming when compared to Ghostface, but has some cool stuff. So just the regular down forward is this rotating move, and it keeps it safe as -7, so this is the one that you can kind of just throw it out if you want to. It will also reflect projectiles, so even though Conan specifically doesn't have a projectile, they'll probably have some sort of a cameo that will. So there you go. If that's the case, Shujinko will just reflect that right back at them. It's pretty cool. Now his next steal here is the down back cameo up, where he kind of wants to use it as an anti-air to kind of slap Conan out of the air if he's jumping at them. What this is actually also is a very deceiving combo starter, because once he does it, he kind of flies off up into the air, but there's enough hit advantage you can actually still, with most characters, combo into something else. So, and similarly before, it kind of keeps your opponent grounded, so you can get some more damage. So, again, you can use Shujinko twice on this, because this is just a half-bar steal. This isn't even his launcher. It's just the amount of hit advantage you get from him whiffing and you recovering. This works into a 1-bar combo launcher, so this is actually really good. So next we have the Sumerian Rising, which is his full back cameo steal. So this actually has 2 hits to it. You can just do the regular one, which is -17, or you can press the cameo button a second time when Shujinko's in the air, and he'll come down and he'll make it +2 on block. So if this connects and you hit it off the first one, then that's a combo launcher. Gravity's really weird, scale's really bad. Not really bad, I guess, but compared to like our other launchers that we're getting, 391 isn't the greatest. That's still decent damage, but for the full Shujinko bar, it's not great. So I generally, if I'm going to combo, I'll use the 1-bar steal and just kind of loop it twice. I can do that with the characters that I play, rather than using that full steal. And then I'll save that for the Crom's Curse, which if you're trying to do it in practice mode, it took me a second because I didn't really read. You have to be at 30% health or less. So if you want to try it in practice, or if you're in Invasions and you want to use it, you're going to have to wait until your health is below a certain threshold, and then you can do it. Shujinko comes down and blesses you with a bunch of blood, and then you basically get a second life if Conan kills you. Fatal Blows will negate that, by the way, if you have it on. It works the same way with Conan. So again, you just can't use it until you're below 30% of your health bar. So, and that's it, a rundown on the DLC characters, how to use them with Shujinko. This is just part 1. Part 2, we're going to go into the other side, which are the more Mortal Kombat characters. We just did, in case you weren't aware, because I don't think I specified, we just did this block over here by my fat head. And then next time we're going to do Takeda, Sector, Cyrax, Ermac, and Noob. So that'll be in the next video. Let me know what you thought about this, if you found it helpful, maybe at least entertaining, if nothing else. And yeah, that being said, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't, because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you Bonehawks in the next video.
Accept your death.